Hey guys, welcome back to the Firsties podcast. I'm your host MILA.
And I'm your host MILA.
If you're new here, if you're a firstie,
we're basically a safe space for first gens who dare to dream.
We like to laugh, kiki, argue.
Basically, two baddies with a mic.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Now let's get into this episode.
It's spooky season. Let's talk about our fears, HERMELLA.
Let's talk about our fears. We came right on time, obviously, guys. Tomorrow's Halloween. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and talk about everything spooky, all of our fears. I feel like last year we've talked about, spooky season, our fears a little bit, kikied, but now we're nothing's funny. So we're really talking about serious.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be an episode where we're going to get pretty vulnerable, I fear. I actually fear.
Honestly, and I think even our last year episode, that was the first episode that we were teary-eyed, that brought us to tears, which is so hilarious because out of all the episodes, we did that on Halloween, a Halloween episode.
It's kind of fitting because we're kind of head-ass that way. Okay, let's jump in. So to get started, just get us comfortable, right? Just to get the juices flowing, get a little comfortable in here. We're going to talk about our irrational fears first. Now, for any firsties out there, if you've watched even a 30-second clip of us, you can definitely tell that both HERMELLA and I both have irrational fears. That's our brand.
Mm-hmm. And we've talked about them.
So, off HERMELLA, because I'm waiting to hear one of yours. Irrational. Keyword irrational, HERMELLA.
The thing is, okay, let me start defending myself. It's very, very rational and it's very, very real. But obviously, the society hates me and they like to tear a Black woman down. So I'm just gonna, say it's no. But guys, honestly, I don't even. I'm just kidding. My irrational fear, I have the worst fear of spiders. I can't do it. Actually, spiders is that's the head honcho of all my fears. But bugs in general, I can't do bugs. Every single time I've seen a bug in my room or in a car, I've hysterically cried and had a meltdown and got rear-ended. And yeah, instead I sat in the room for an hour.
I'm definitely gonna have your back on this. That at first I even thought it's just a spider, but it's just because I'm not scared of it just means. But you actually have a phobia. A phobia is genuinely a physical reaction. I mean, she's stopped in traffic. Raining on her way to a firstie shoot, called me hey babe, I'm gonna be late. I'm like, are you okay? What do you need? So absolutely you have a fear of anything crawling. There is a dead spider on my window in my car. Dead. Not gonna bother her. She almost she freaked out a little bit.
Guys, please go watch the vlog, the Firsties Plus vlog that we have on. That was not a tiny spider. I hope I put the picture in, or I hope we have a video of that spider. She's seeing a dead spider. I can see that it's dead. It's it's big. I'm not touching that. And she's like, oh, she's a little spider. And she did a little whatever with it, and then she threw it out.
Yeah. Always get the spider. Always. But honestly, I'm sure a lot of firsties can relate. That's a common one. I honestly, if they're big and hairy, that's where I get freaked out. But if it's the small ones, the ones that are poisonous and the hairy big ones, no, I can't do that.
No, even the daddy long legs. The daddy long legs don't have that much of an effect on me. I just don't want to see them.
Yeah.
But regardless, any type of spider, that's just not my thing. I'm good, thank you. I'm full, thank you. How about you?
Irrational fear for me, I would definitely say is not being able to get out of something. So it could be as simple as delayed flight and we're sitting there. I'm fine on planes, but if we're sitting there, you could be sitting there for hours sometimes. I've heard people sit there for 7 hours. They won't let them off the plane for whatever reason. So just knowing if I could get out of something. So if we're in a closet or whatever, I just need to know that the door can't lock or anything like that. So basically suffocation. And correct. Yeah. So even it goes as simple as watch me take a pill, a Tylenol. I have to cut that up. I can't tell you how many times my sister's girl, your liver, you're killing your liver. And I'm just because that moment where it goes down, I feel it's constricted and I feel I'm going to choke and die. So that's a rush.
What?
If you ever see me take, I have to do it in 3 parts. It's so ridiculous. Miriam is always girl, just take it back. And then you see our parents like they almost have Colo in their hands with all the pills that they have, and they're just like, and with no water. I'm like, oh, I can't do that.
MILA, then how are you thinking of like giving birth?
Oh, I'm correct. Yeah, it's a concern. Irrational.
That's very rational for me.
So like fish oil, like the big fish oil, absolutely. If I can cut it, if I can't cut it, it's just that moment. That's why I have a big fear of throwing up, because it's that moment where you throw up and you can't breathe for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
You know what you do? Because what I do for fish oil is like, I literally finish a whole bottle of water just to take one pill, because I want to like surprise myself. Like, I don't know, I don't want to tell myself when I'm swallowing it. So I literally put the thing in my mouth and then just drink the whole water, and it just goes down. At some point, it's just gonna go down.
It's actually a good.
Not fish oil. That should fit. But like
that is
Tylenol, just start drinking. At some point, it's gonna come.
It's gonna go. You're right. You're right. Okay. Next up, what's your next irrational fear? Give me a good one. Give me a.
I think it's spiders. I can't think of like an irrational fear. Like, yeah, everything else is like pet peeves. Like, it's just spiders. It's just bugs. Get them away.
Another fear for me is I think it's because I've watched Final Destination way too young, but like something flying in my windshield and like decapitating me.
Oh, that's crazy.
So like if I'm driving behind a big truck, I just always think the doors are gonna fly open, all the shit is gonna fall out onto my car, and then it's just like GG's, like it's done. Like I'm gonna meet my Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
Irrational. Again, you're making me look crazy, HERMELLA. You have nothing to share.
I'm here like supporting you, like, that's crazy. That is what was I about to say? I used to not be scared of heights. Like, I don't think I have fear of heights. But now when I'm looking at, like, when I'm watching videos of like something like up high or something, I literally get a little anxious, just a little bit, which is so crazy. Huh?
No, heights is a very common one for me. That's not. I'm good on heights.
I went cliff diving twice, flying. I'm literally just looking down. Like, that doesn't really do anything to me. But when I'm watching like a video, I don't know, it does something to me. But my other fear is the ocean. I forgot.
Ocean,
large bodies of water in general, or like seeing like, you know, those like really huge like statues like in the ocean and whatever. Like, no. For those who work on the like the little ship, the big ship, actually not no little ship, but in the ship or whatever, I applaud you. You literally are like superhuman in my eyes.
Well, and to that point, I think the biggest fear there is like the unknown. Like, we honestly have not explored like what I think 30%. I don't know. We haven't explored the ocean that much.
But we've only explored 5% of the ocean.
Oh yeah. Like, it's like
nothing. I'm so sorry. I'm not going in there. Are you kidding me? That's why when people go on cruise ships. Are we okay? No, I'm never getting on a cruise ship. I don't care if like there's like $1 million on that cruise.
Okay, speaking of cruise ship, the only time I went on a cruise ship was with my mom and my aunt, and I got the top bunk because obviously I'm not gonna make my mom take like the top bunk, obviously. And my bed was here, and I'm not joking. I could touch the ceiling. I woke up in the middle of the night and had an out of body experience. You know how much our moms and aunties, that's not a real thing. You can't have a panic attack. They don't even know what you're talking about. So I had to kind of eat it. I had to like chalk it up to the game because I had an out of body experience that, wait, the ceiling is right there. I'm claustrophobic. This is a very small room. And technically I can't get out, as far as like, I can't get off this boat. And I just saw my body on the bed in the room, which is in the boat, which is in this water, and there's no land everywhere. I was like, and I started to like sweat, and then like I started to see stars, so I was having a panic attack. And just like calm myself down. Like, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. So
if I was, what's his name, Jack? Lily's gonna have to get off that table.
You mean Rose?
Sorry, Rose.
Like, Amanda needs to get off.
No, literally, I'm so sorry. None of my body's touching that water. And just Anyways, let's talk about the more serious.
Okay, so now let's get into fears in relationships and love. So this could be friendship, family, and romantic love if we want to throw it in there.
Oh, we're also like talking about like how we get over those fears. It's not
Correct.
just like trauma dumping and just
Yeah, because we want to be
dreading.
helpful to the audience. We'll
Yeah.
try. So, yeah.
So we're gonna be okay. Do you want to go?
I think I'll speak for the both of us that number one is the fear of losing someone. Avi, like loved ones. That's like our biggest fear. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
So I would say that's like, just to start, that's the obvious one of losing someone. But if I could add, for me, I think my fear is like, because that's the thing, is one of our biggest fears, it will happen. Just the other day, HERMELLA, I was driving home, like a long drive from work, and I had a conversation with my brother. It was a really great conversation about our relationship and stuff. And like, I really have the dream relationship I've always wanted with my siblings, where we're like, they really are a partner in my life. Like, he called me to consult me on a big decision in his life because he's like, hey, this is going to be a part of you too. So I need your help deciding. So it's just very sweet. And so I was thinking how, like, if things are supposed to go the way they're supposed to go, this is so morbid. But if things are supposed to go the way it's supposed to go, I will be the last one here. I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking how, like, inevitable, it's going to happen, right? But I try to like really think about it, like literally in tears, almost driving, because you know how we do that. And I was thinking how I think my biggest fear is like, yes, we're gonna all die at some point, right? That's the inevitability. But I think it's like, I just don't want anyone to be in pain. Like, I don't want to be tragic. You know what I mean?
Oh,
If
tragic.
I were to control, yeah, like a car wreck, or, you know, God forbid, I'm knocking on wood, please, Lord. But like, yeah, like that, you know what I mean? That's the biggest fear, is like, I just don't want anyone to be in pain, when and if they go. Yeah. So not to get too dark or too serious, but that's like a fear. Go ahead.
I feel like my irrational fears when it comes to like losing someone, for me, would be just like, obviously we're working so we can do something for our family, you know, kind of like pay them back and everything too. So my biggest fear is like, if they were and I did not like basically have like a time where I would just like kind of pay them back, or just like make them like, I guess, like rest, you know, like that's like the biggest thing that would just eat me up alive. But then, yeah, so let me talk about like the faith part, because I'm gonna start crying if I keep on going about like the fear. But I feel like now the way I see it is like, before I used to have like this like obsessive like thought where like, okay, I have to do this, I have to make this, I have to do this so I can like buy my mom like a house or this or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But you're waiting, like when you're waiting for like the big cash out, time is passing you by, because it's kind of like also low-key arrogant for me to think that God's gonna wait until I stack up a lot of money so I can buy her a house or this. Do you know what I mean? Because that's not like just like how life works. So instead, I feel like using the time you have now and just kind of like helping, or like relieving them of whatever, or like, you know, just kind of like paying them back in any way that you can. And that can be even like helping them like emotionally, or just like being there for like the way that you're more equipped than your parents. That's the way that you can kind of like, you know, swoop in and just help them and feel like you're of use. But yeah, for me, it's just like more like, you know, helping them like emotionally or like financially with what I can, or like little things, instead of like waiting for the big girl college. I'm just like, wait till I make it. And I'm just like, but what if I make it like in like 10 years? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I feel like now that I've been doing these little tiny things, that it won't like, of course I would want them there. Of course, like that's not like my wish or whatever. But even in that situation, I wouldn't like the regret, or like it's not gonna be like me regretting not doing something for them. It's just gonna be me sad that I wish they're here to see in person. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's just a little bit different, but it makes like a big difference like in my eyes, because I'm like, I don't want to have just like wasting my time just not doing like anything, you know?
Yeah, but also love, because I do have that same fear, and we always remember, because people are listening to us who also can relate. Because I definitely think this definitely falls in the first gen conversation, because you do want to give back. Yeah, like, who doesn't want to buy their parents a house and be like, yo, I got it, vacation, I got it. You know what I mean? Like whatever you need, I got it. But also like the times, I'm sure your mom recently or your parents really said they're proud of you over like the life that you've created even now, and being like, that's enough. You know what I mean? Because I don't think there's a finish line really. You know what I mean? If there was, we wouldn't be here anymore. So it's tough because I'm also the same way. I have an idea of what I think, okay, this is it. They're going to be proud of me here. And they said they said they were proud of me last week. That should be enough, but it's not. I'm like, no, I want to give them all, you know what I mean? Here's a whip. Here's a vacation. Here, because you see the struggle so in your face. I mean, like I can only speak for my parents. Like I've just seen moments where like, I mean, they really struggled as far as just like even not getting enough sleep or like not being able to make it to my school, whatever, because they have to work. And I'm like, ugh, like the fact that you have to work this hard, not because of your capabilities, but because of how the work this country is set up. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. Yeah. So we have to remember that they're already proud of us. Like,
yeah,
see that she's proud of you and I over this podcast all the time. And I'm like, yeah, but once we hit 1 million subscribers, then you can be proud. It's like, no, like now, you know what I mean?
Like threshold, like a monetary, like whatever, like just like a quantitative, I guess, like threshold. But you're right. Like I feel like one, they're already like proud of us, and I think like even like with any type of goals, like not just like when it comes to family or just like giving back there, whatever goals that you have, like when you think about how you want to feel or when you think about like the underlying like cause of it, the reason why I want to like buy my mom a house or do things or whatever is just to be dependable. Like, you know what I mean? Like at least to have like to be like, I guess like the rock like your parents can lean on, because usually as first gens too, they've always been the ones that are like working. They've always been the go-getters. Like they've never like leaned on anyone. So it's like being equipped enough for them to lean on me and me not fall also, you know? So girl gotta stand too. But but even like when you think of it that way, you still can be like the rock that your parents can lean on. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's not like exactly the same way, like you want to lean on like, I don't know, like you have like a specific like, you know, like look, but it might not be that, but they can still lean on you. And that's just doing like 10 times more of just like what you would have done, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's really it. It's like we really are living in answer prayers and in our dream because you already have it. Like you already have security, you already have intelligence, you already have your worth ethic. But there's an idea of how you want to see it, whether it is buying the house, but okay, kind of like what you mentioned, how do you feel buying that house? Oh, you just showed your parents like I'm good, you don't have to worry about me. Or you're good, you don't have to worry about yourself. You know what I mean? So I think all of us, we tie a certain thing, whether it's a car, moving to a different city, a relationship, to security, to like success, to intelligence, to safety, protection, all these things.
Yeah.
Because of like our childhood wounds and stuff. Like we saw some stuff that like I think like, you know, at the young age of 6, seeing my parents like visibly seeing them struggle, it did a number on me. It just did. I don't know if I was supposed to see that. That wasn't their fault. You know what I mean? Like I had a front row seat to that. And like seeing your caretakers or your parents in pain or uncomfortable it's like one of the deepest wounds. Like it just is, you know? It is. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Right. Oh, I was just gonna say, like, even for people who are just, let's say, like, not like moved out or whatever, like, you know, like there's like little like steps that you're expecting.
Yeah.
There's some like if your parents were hungry or if their parents wanted like, I don't know, like even like filling up gas is like a big thing. Like don't think of like don't wait until you have the $500,000 house. Do you know what I mean? Let's say like obviously you're saving up for like that big thing, but if your parents like if something happened or if like something happened to their car or whatever, you being able to even just like fix that, or you even being like able to just go to help them physically too, that's still a biggest blessing, because some parents don't even have those like around them. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't have like physical support like around them because family's back home or whatever. And sometimes all you might need is just company. And you even just like stepping in and just like helping them does a lot more. So don't take those little things. Those aren't little. Don't take those things for granted, or just don't minimize what you're giving to your family, you know?
Yeah. Amen. I need to hear that too, especially during the holidays.
Yeah, we had to really steer it to the faith immediately before we before I talked a little too much about the fear.
Yeah. Okay, so then fear in that's family, fear in relationships, romantic ones.
Oh.
So news to me. I guess I have a fear of intimacy. Didn't know that through therapy.
told you that, girl. We are twins.
Through therapy for that?
Told you that. You don't have to go to therapy.
No, but it's really realizing that it's like, I was just talking to my friend the other day where she paid me like a really, really nice compliment. And I was like, it's just so funny because in certain aspects, I think I'm behind tremendously because I see my other girlfriends who know themselves. They know themselves in the relationships. They know what they want, what they don't want. You know what I mean? They kind of know the dating scene and stuff. And I'm like, what is that? Like, you know what I mean? Because, and a lot of, I just saw a TikTok the other day where it's like immigrant adults are expected to understand the nuances and the culture of dating when they never practice that ever. So how even though we're adults, it's like we don't actually know what we're doing, and I don't even know what I like versus what I don't like. I'm getting an idea of that. So fear of intimacy, I'm like, oh, news to me. Yeah. Okay, because it's
what do you think is like the root of it? I guess like the fear of intimacy is the root of like the non.
Yeah, I think the fear of intimacy, the root of that is like being vulnerable with someone who is not a non-family member. Like I've been vulnerable with you. I've been vulnerable with my family. You know what I mean? Like,
so you don't have an issue with that when it comes to friends?
Yeah, because we created a friendship. Yeah, like my friends are 10 plus years. Most of my friends. You know what I mean? Coworkers I worked with 10 years ago or 6 years ago. I just saw them last week. You know, hanging out. Like, so I definitely maintain relationships, and I just connect with women very well. And we talk about the women in our life are very important. But a non-family member, I don't know. I think it's just being vulnerable and like you're literally signing up to potentially get your heart broken. It's either going to end in a relationship or it's going to end in breaking up. And it's just a lot of like the what ifs and things. And also, unfortunately, like I know you relate to this too, like we've had a front row seat to like a lot of our friends' relationships. And like, if I'm honest, they were horrible. Like my friends went through some ish.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to go through that. I also don't have the time. I'm just like, pack it up. Like, you know, but looking, I thought it was mostly like, oh, I don't have the time, whatever. It's like, no, it's fear of intimacy. It's fear of intimacy for sure. What are you gonna say?
Yeah. I was gonna say, have you dated anyone that's like you started off as friends first? Or was it always like mutual agreement that you guys are dating? Because I think that's the biggest difference too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. My track shows that we were friends first.
Really? Okay, I thought that was gonna like that might have changed because you would have seen him as a friend first.
Yeah, in my more like recent years, the last like probably 3, 4, 5 years, the guys that I've been into or we talked or anything like that or any time, it was more we met, had an attraction, and then something came of it. But before then, it was all like my deepest connection was with a guy that I knew for like years, like middle school, like years.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, and so
sorry, continue.
No, that was all I was gonna say. I was just gonna say so. When that didn't work out, it was like even the deep like or getting excited and then it didn't work out. That was even heartbreaking. So I was like, imagine love. Oh God, what are y'all do? This is a lot. Ooh.
But I think this is the same way of like, I know, like I had to tell myself this because I also have that. Like, I feel like mine was like I used to have that a lot. Like I had that too. But I think it's just like the same way of like just because you fell off a bike doesn't mean you're not gonna like stop riding that bike. You're gonna get up and just
I know.
Like the fear of it. I think like the first heartbreak, I already know it's gonna be like actually like astronomical. You know what I mean? However, literally as crazy as it is, time really does heal like all wounds. Do you know what I mean? Totally. Yeah. And you are going to be able to like love deeply, but it's just the time it's going to take is going to be like insane. Do you know what I mean? So it's like something you just have to get over, which is so crazy because I even like guys that I just did not know I love or like that I know I didn't love. Let me fix that. Even guys that I know I didn't love, it took me years to get over them. Do you know what I mean?
Years.
Plural, which is crazy.
But no, you're actually
we can date, so that's even crazier. But
no, you're absolutely right. And I think for anyone who's listening to this who can relate to me for sure, it's the fact that like, okay, if it doesn't work out, it's still worth it. I almost compare it to like, I'm never gonna regret loving you or loving my parents, because inevitably we're all gonna perish, right? So it's like at some point, everyone is gonna break my heart. It's gonna be the worst pain ever, right? But it's like that doesn't make it less worthy. Like, no, it's worth it. Like that's
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So seeing it that way, what?
You know, if people like your family, whatever, passing away, that's not their doing. They didn't choose to. That's the difference. With like a loved one, it's like they're doing the heartbreak. I think that's the like for me personally, that's like the hard part because like that's the betrayal. Do you know what I mean? Because if it's like, oh God forbid he passed away. Oh my God. I was gonna say if he passed away, but I'm like, God forbid. Ooh. But anyways, if it's like mostly it's like cheating or like mostly it's like things that like they're doing or they're causing. I am a big fan of falling out of love with each other. I feel like that's the most normal separation. That's normal. If we break up because you fell out of love with me, no,
that is heartbreaking. Oh my God, Hermella.
Because like in my head, I'm like, some people outgrow each other, you know. But then
that could be oh my God, that new fear unlocked.
Constant fear that I can't get over because I'm gonna be scared the next person is also gonna fall out of love, you know.
New fear unlocked.
Would you rather him cheat on you or just fall out of love? I guess
both are horrendous. Both are horrendous. Like
he has to fall out of love to cheat, unless he's just like.
Oh, we're moving on. I can't.
We need to talk about faith. What's our like, maneuver? What's our like mechanism for this?
Yeah, I think part of it all. Well, I think when it comes to faith with this specifically, it's really understanding like God's love for us. That like when you truly try to deep, and it's physically probably not possible because we're humans, but how much He actually loves us and obviously His sacrifice. And then being like, oh, wait, like I'm also deserving. Because I think that falls into it, my fear of intimacy. And then also understanding that I'm also worthy of being loved the correct way and loving someone. And so it's really just going back to the basics, which is, you know who created you. So why the heck would Jesus create Hermella and not create a partner for her? Like that makes no sense. You know what I mean? And also back to honestly the fear of losing a loved one is like it's the inevitable thing, but really with your faith, like trying to really understand that it's going to happen, but that the Lord is going to equip you to really go through that. Like you're not going through it alone, you know? Like you have your God during the worst times of our life, you know? And it's in His plan, and everything that He planned is good, so we might as well rejoice. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what Scripture says. So that's what I would say. How about you?
I feel like my mechanism for heartbreak is at this point, I'd rather just go all in. And obviously, like I know from like a gambling point of view, that doesn't sound right, but I would rather leave with absolute no regrets and just like I've loved you whatever this much, and then do whatever. Good for you. The karma, everything is all yours. Like I'm just leaving everything to you. If like it's like ending basically. And I feel like because then you can never I would never turn around and be like, oh, I need closure. I would never turn around and be like, I need explanation, whatever, because I know for a fact that I was true to myself and I was just like doing that. But me being true to myself does not mean I'm not like a lovey-dovey person. You're not expecting like me standing with a blue box or whatever. Like, it's not that expressive, but just not holding back how I feel at that moment, like with the person, knowing full and well that this might just go wrong. Do you know what I mean? But the issue with me is the communication part. Do you know what I mean?
We talk about this.
Huh? So exactly. So when it comes to words of affirmation, that might be different. But I'm talking about at least feeling the person, like feeling the love. I wouldn't like stop myself that. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, good.
So, like if it happens, it happens. And then two, just like you just end up learning like you are like your heart is mendable. Like it's not like a little tiny little like glass, you know? You always like fix it. It just takes time, but then I guess like you can love. You know how someone said like if you love someone like this much, the wrong person this much, imagine like the right person. So it would be like fireworks if it's the right person. It's two girls that never experienced heartbreak talking about how to get over heartbreak for me.
No, what the irony is that like I've been labeled not by me of like not being romantic or like I don't prioritize finding love in my life in that way. And I'm like, actually, if you actually like take the layers off a little bit, I'm actually a hopeless romantic. I take it so seriously that I actually don't want to go anywhere near it. So it's actually the opposite.
Yeah. We
You know
talked about last episode, like you're actually such a lot that you act like.
Yeah, I've talked to Ruth about it where like I think a lot of us can relate on like I just think you're finding your partner is one of probably the most important decision you'll make in your lifetime. You know what I mean? Like I dream of that more than literally anything else, really. And I take it so seriously that I then just almost like try to escape it because it really is such a big deal. And not to look for the perfect partner, but just the perfect person for me. You know what I mean? And yeah, so that comes with a lot of fear because it technically is a dream of mine. You know what I mean? And fears and dreams are like right next to each other.
Yeah, and also honestly though, like don't take like I feel like even with your friends, like there's just you did not calculate that, you did not like meticulously maneuver and make sure to meet that person and that friend that you've been friends for like years and years. So it's like there's always I feel like whenever something's like so hard to comprehend or whenever something's just too much for me, I just give it up to God. And I feel like obviously the same way you met your friends, you know what I mean? Like that's just gonna be the same way for like your romantic partner. But I will say by like ruling out like, you know, like let's say like your friend, have you been friends with someone like you just like didn't get along at first and then you guys end up being like really
One of the
close
best friends. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just like that's the same way with like even other relationships because now I see them as like ways that I've learned like more about myself because obviously your purpose might not have been obviously the friend is like you guys end up but even in relationship like even you when you have like the wrong person the intention of that person being in your life was not to stay like for life. It's just like to teach you a lesson and just like kind of trigger you because I feel like I mean people are like mirrors of each other. Do you know what I mean? So you're not able to kind of like learn something about yourself unless there's someone else to catalyze that or like to trigger that.
Yeah.
It's like those wrong people actually just keep them coming because then you're gonna be the most well-rounded version of you for love when you're like, you know, ready to kind of like settle down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like comparing it to some of my other friends who've had a couple boyfriends and had a couple relations that never worked out or like the biggest heartbreak. It's like they survived it. They will always survive it. And then, but they learn more about themselves and they know what they like, what they don't like. They also have a lot of confidence now because they went through it. You know what I mean? Like they went through that battle and they're like, oh, I'm better for it. Like when at one point they literally could not function and then they are fine. You know what I mean? Because that's what we do. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay. Now we're going to talk about fear in, do you have any general like fear in life?
Oh, like goals as well? Does that count as fear in life?
Yeah, like goals, yeah, career, all that.
My biggest fear, guys, like this is like my ultimate biggest fear.
Here we go.
Genuinely like being 60. I mean, God willing, 60, 65, like old and like at that age and saying like, oh, like I wish I did this, like I wish I did this, whatever. Like just you know when you realize like your life is in years, I don't even have to be 50 or 60. Let's say I got married to the wrong person and I'm living like a life. Like it's like small, tiny decisions where you're choosing like other than yourself that end up trickling down and just becoming such a big like smack of reality and you just like realizing that that's not the life you wanted to live or that's not the life you envisioned. That's my biggest fear. So yeah,
that's a very common one because I think it's like I forget what like viral article it was, but it's like ask like a bunch of people in hospice and people who are basically waiting to basically leave this earth. Yeah, and they are like, it was never I wish I worked more, whatever. It was I wish I like just took more risk. I wish I asked out that girl. I wish I could help my family. Like it literally is never, I wish I made more money. Like it's always Like, I wish I traveled more. I wish I ate whatever I wanted and didn't care how much weight I gained. Like, whatever it was, it was more of that of just being. But I think a lot of that stems from fear of rejection. Fear of embarrassment is a major thing. I don't think people talk about that enough. Yeah. Fear of embarrassment, I honestly think fuels this country at this point, like, or a generation.
Yeah.
Like the fear of embarrassment, because being rejected can feel embarrassing. Mm-hmm. Something not working out can be a bummer and embarrassing. And it's like, I truly think that fear of embarrassment, if we just let that go, you're literally one step closer to the life of your dreams, truly. Whether it's even as like, I think Austin Butler said it, like, I think the emotion of being embarrassed should be explored more. Like, just make a fool out of yourself and see what happens. You know what I mean? And be more kids. But we're just so like, gotta keep it cute, gotta keep it cool, make sure Instagram looks cute and put together, make sure like, and it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. And I feel like even outside of like fear of embarrassment too, it's so hard. You would think like your mind is actually just genuinely your absolute biggest op. And it's so hard, like your comfort zone, it's so hard to leave your comfort zone. And it can be like, you can absolutely know what you want to do. You could absolutely know, like, you don't have the fear of embarrassment. Embarrassing is nothing, whatever. Like, you can have all those like ideas, but it's so hard for your body to get out of rhythm, or for your mind and body to get out of like routine. So let's say, MILA, right now, you want to, I don't know, like move to Brazil and live that life or whatever. That's absolutely completely like opposite from what you've known and what your body and mind is comfortable with and what your body and mind has like conceptualized as home. Than anything else, like you would literally subconsciously just kind of hold yourself back, be like, wait, I don't know a lot of people, whatever. And you only like pay attention or like not manifest, but like pay attention to like the bad news about Brazil instead of like the good parts. Like there's so many good news about Brazil, but obviously your mind's gonna only pay attention to the bad news to kind of like counter attack like your dreams. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, I think, of course, fear of embarrassment and everything comes like later on, like I guess like thinking about like external validations, but it literally physically is so hard too. Like I've caught myself like subconsciously sabotaging myself multiple times, even when it comes to love. Like that's how we do when we're doing like, when we self-sabotage ourselves. Even when it comes to dreams, like you know exactly what you need to do. You know you have to post this video, you know you have to edit this like you know you have to have certain type of discipline, but your fear of like the unknown, or your fear of your potential, or your fear of like because you don't know what's going to happen when you leave, that's literally subconsciously going to hold you back too. So it's just like genuinely a constant battle with your mind, which is, and then you have to be comfortable with just always just like leaping, not knowing like where you're going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Which is so, it is crazy. And I was just thinking about like, anytime I have felt embarrassed, like sometimes you literally can't control it, like you just feel embarrassed or whatever. I'm thinking like it wasn't never as bad as I thought it was for the most part. Like when you think of the fear of rejection, it actually was not embarrassing actually. And if that person points out the embarrassing moment, then they're kind of a shitty person. You know what I mean? I don't want to be around a shitty person. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's never as bad as I thought it was. And we have to remember that. But you're right. Like your brain, but we have to remember like the role of our brain is to protect our body. So of course, if I want to move to Brazil, my brain is thinking like this to protect myself. And you almost have to override that and be like, but look at your history before. You've made pretty great decisions. You kind of know how to travel. You'll be okay. Like, don't be, crazy, but like, you know how to do this.
Right, for a reason. I'm sorry. Like, even biblically, it's your heart. Sorry. Like, the logic is there. The like putting 1, 2, and 2 together is there. But at the same time, it's just, it can also be your cage, which is so like annoying. But you just genuinely have to like, you can have like little fears where like, let's say leaving your job or like getting a new job. You're gonna be like, oh my God, you might even have like enough money saved up, but the fear in you, it's like, I don't have constant income or whatever, as if you can't get any other job. Do you know what I mean? There's like a certain, like, I guess the ego too, there's a certain thing that your brain and everything is just accommodating to that, like outside of that, that's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? If worst comes to worst, let's say you quit your job, if worst comes to worst, you would have been a server. You would have been something to make money and still do what you want to do. But that's not something like someone would opt to when it comes to like leaving like their corporate job or something. You know what I mean? Hey, the job is a little sensitive because everybody lost their job right now. Like, this is really hell and horror right now, but I'm just using that like as an example.
Yeah.
It's just like you're literally your biggest op. Sorry, just saying that.
That's the fear.
Yeah, my fear, just like me falling into like me listening to my mind and just like falling into like the regular predictable habits, fearing the just like the unpredictable or like the unknown and like the unpredictable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's honestly it's honestly best to not fall on our own understanding. I mean, and the Lord has said that like we don't know ish, and I think honestly when it comes to career in life, it is like I think that's why one of the reasons why you and I are really having a pretty good time with following our dreams and goals right now as far as our content creating and the podcast, because it literally requires us to have faith. Like first host is him. You know what I mean? Like that, like really. Cause I'm addressed by it every single day. You know what I mean? Cause in order for this to work, we have to be a little delusional. You know what I mean? Cause you know? And so it's almost like a requirement for sure. But that's a major thing. I mean, I completely relate to you in that where like I don't want to be like, man, I wish 40 years ago I started a podcast or whatever. Like, and also the other day I saw someone say on social media, your ideas are not yours. Like you have I have an idea to start a clothing brand. I don't jump on it. 6 years later, HERMELLA has an idea to start a clothing brand, but HERMELLA actually follows through with it. And then now it's Nike. You know what I mean? And then like it's someone's got so like jump on it. Yeah, but I think it's
like a download. It's like you're honoring the direction you've been given, honestly.
Yeah, like I really, when I thought like your thoughts are not your own, your ideas not your own, like I have a thought all the time of like, oh, that doesn't look good or whatever. It's like that's not actually me. You know what I mean? Like whatever is happening up there. But that's a very what?
What are your fears, like your life in general?
Probably like it not working out. That's probably it. Like, I've envisioned like I really envisioned I didn't know it was going to be this specifically, but I really envisioned a life for myself when it comes to my career since I was like probably 10. Yeah. And to get really, really deep, the reason why I envisioned it, because the stuff that I was going through as a kid, I was like, I have to make this work to make this worth it. Because this can't be it, which is very dark and sad, but that's just the truth. Like, for anyone who's dealing with any type of like confusion, abuse, whatever it is, you just like, for some people, they take that and they want to have a triumph story and be like, you know, so like, even if it's not even my trauma, just like, you know, our parents came here. I'm like, they didn't just come here just for me, just to, but again, it's what we went through. Like, whatever I do, as long as I'm a kind human being and giving to society, they should be proud of me. But for whatever reason, I'm like, no, that's not enough.
Yeah.
I have to be successful so that it's worth it that my parents worked this hard to get us here, which is incredibly unfair to myself, which I'm learning in therapy.
Because you're literally putting so much on yourself.
Yeah, but that's how I see it. Like, then it'll be worth it when it's like, it's never worth it for someone to be struggling or in an abusive situation or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, what? That makes no sense. But that's what my brain tells me. So like, I would say it not working out of just the way that I envision it. And that's really where faith comes into play. Cause I'm like, well, how cruel would it be for me to have this dream and this idea and not coming to fruition with the help of my Lord? But I mean, can't you relate to that? I feel like a lot of immigrant children can relate to that of like, there's no way that's it. There is absolutely no way it's it. There has to be more. And then also I have a really like praying mother and father who really like vocalized to me, like, you got this, you know? And I'm like, do I?
I feel like, like, just like you said, like, if you ask God and just, God is not going to put it in your heart for it to not work. Like, he's not cool like that. But the details, I do think you should kind of let that go a little bit. Because I used to be that type of person too. Like, I have like envisioned every single thing you can imagine. And obviously that like that's not exactly how like it goes like in each timeline or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because when you're like so stuck on the exact like details of it, sometimes that you obviously like kind of miss to appreciate like the little things that like you're winning because it's not like in plan. Do you know what I mean? Like you making it, of course that's gonna happen. Like that's gonna happen in general. But in what way you never know. Do you know what I mean? Because if we knew all of that, then what's the like where's like God's part in that? And like in your story. If you've like, envisioned every little thing about it.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It's one of those things where I completely agree that he will never put us in a situation where he's not necessary. So it's never going to be perfect. But it's letting the childhood fantasies go also. And yeah, it's just like I really feel it. So it's like it's one of those kind of two sides of it where like the fear of it not working out, but also the fear of it working out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Both dream big. So it's like, oh, like being the number one podcast in the world, that comes with a responsibility and that comes with a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice. So it's almost like be careful what you pray for and what you actually want. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I think you're right, like letting go of the details of it, but it's like part of like the pro freakness of
or like how you would get there. Let me clear, not like the actual goal because I feel like the goal is there for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How you would get there, or like envision like those like specific like detail, like tiny details, because you never know like how God's gonna get you there. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and he's one to like. I say he's like the ultimate comedian because he just be like, like this is happening. This is happening.
Oh, I was like, my sister told me I didn't know that Sabrina Carpenter like started like becoming viral because she responded to I guess Olivia Rodrigo's album with the song.
Oh,
like,
the other.
Yeah, but I did not know she had like albums before that.
6 to be exact.
I did not know that. In my head, what's the new album? Whatever. Short and sweet or whatever. Sweeter, one of them. I thought that was only I thought that was like her first album because it was so tea. I loved it. Like everyone was like, I wish I went to the concert. But no, all of that, imagine the consistency, and then the one thing is a beef that ends up catapulting your career. You're never gonna predict a beef in your timeline. You know what I mean? It's like exactly because we would never. You know what I mean? Or like little things like anyone. I don't think anyone has ever like exactly what they. You need to read The Alchemist again. But anyone who's exactly planned their life, it's not happening exactly as they planned, and it's always 99% of the time better than their actual plan. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember Steve Jobs, he said this in when he was speaking to like a graduating class, whatever. He said like you'll never be able to connect the dots going forward, like ever. It's physically not possible, but you could absolutely connect them looking back. And so like that opportunity led you to this one, made no sense. Maybe a job, for firsties that are listening, maybe it's a pay cut, maybe it's out of your commute, whatever it is, maybe it's moving to a state or city that you literally don't need, like what, that makes no sense. But if you really believe it and you allow God to help you as well, in my opinion, then it's obviously the right path. But he was saying you can only connect the dots looking backwards. Like, oh, that does make sense. So if I really deep the last couple of years, everything makes absolutely sense for me and how it worked out for me. So I just have to remember that, because I do think part of handling with the fear is having some type of, even if it's not true at all, but having some type of control. I put that in air quotes for the audio listeners. With what we'd learned, control is actually not a thing. It's not a real thing.
Yeah.
People are losing their jobs every day. Obviously, they don't want that, but that's where we're at now. So yeah, it's just practicing that. Yeah, The Alchemist. I have to remember. Yeah,
and I feel like, of course, like we serve a God that just makes something out of nothing, and we are very like, I feel like we have like a straight shot view of everything when just God has like a full like view like of what like we're seeing basically. So we might be like even podcasts, like we're seeing episode 1, 2, to 100, right? But he doesn't know, like we can't see that. Let's say you went to like interview someone like in New York or Philly or something there, right? The episode itself might just like literally be so trash, but in that trip you might have met someone that would have helped you in your other relationships, your friendships, love-wise, or like, or that person might just be of use like in so many years, like later down the line. You just really never know. And that's like, I just have to like even tell myself that, because I only have like a straight view or like a linear view of like one thing, when God has like the full map out. So it's like, I would never know, but later on, obviously. Do you know what I mean? If I hadn't done that, then I wouldn't have met this person, and my faith wouldn't have been like so much like better than like where it's at before, you know?
Totally,
Or,
yeah.
so
I think the one thing that helped me out also is sometimes when you do get in your head is that like he's really showed off and showed out in other parts of my life that I'm like, imagine what he's going to do in this part of your life if you just stay the course. You know what I mean? When it comes to like either my career or like the lifestyle that I have now, it's just like I damn near wake up every morning like I cannot believe I get to do this. As down to like hanging out with friends, my work that I absolutely love, then my podcast, then my family, and I'm like, I hear everyone's healthy, everyone's good, we're straight. And so it's just those moments where you just like get in your head, where it's just like truly it's just anxiety or sometimes even depression, especially with the the climate getting colder too. I think it's just honestly we're just describing being a human being, like that really, because it's ghetto to be a human being. It really is. Over it.
no, but no, yeah. Honestly, you just gotta lean on God and just let Him take you through it. But
Okay.
speaking of God,
Wait, what?
I said, speaking of God, like, what are your fears in like faith, or do you have any fears? Which is like really crazy asking like your fears in faith, but like,
yeah, no, but that's why I love this. Honestly, that's why I love this podcast. Fear and faith. Of course, like there, as out of my respect and like understanding of His power, mercy, compassion, there's the fear of God, but not in the sense of like I'm scared of Him because I know Him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We have a relationship with Him, but just in the sense of like it's a respect thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you're just like, okay. Oh,
So like,
I was
like
your faith in God.
Wait, what? Say that one more time.
I was just saying, like, your faith, when it comes to your faith in God, do you have any fears when it comes to like ideas, concepts, whatever, or even like the church or people? Like,
Not when it comes to like faith, not anything comes off the top of my head. I feel like that's the one thing where like I don't know everything, and I know that.
Yeah.
Yet there's still like a familiarity, a home feeling, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I really do think, not to go back to it, and I definitely want you to answer this question too, but like I really recommend everyone who's listening, go after your dreams, because it really forces you to be a better person and forces you to, like, when I say stand 10 toes in your faith, stand 10 toes in your faith.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like a mirroring situation where like you're finally putting yourself out there and you're really going after your dreams. And that requires some type of faith, whether it is not my God, whatever your faith is. So I can't think of any. How about you?
Girl, I used to be scared to go to hell. I used to be scared.
You talk about this.
I have fear of it. I feel like every Christian should have had that. Like, honestly,
That's kind of like fear of his, you know what I mean? Like,
no, like I'm scared to go to hell. It's not even his fear. I think what you're saying is in like reverence to Him, like
correct.
you
Yes.
know, like, out of deep respect and reverence to God, you fear God because, like, you know, we love Him. I do feel that right now, but I used to be very scared of HE double hockey sticks, and I used to be very terrified to the point where, if you guys have seen our faith episode, obviously I've like touched upon it. Actually, I really went in depth there, but like to just like speak to God, because I felt like, oh my God, I sinned, going to hell. I did this, going to hell, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like little things. I just knew, like, I used to remember, like, maybe it was in high school. Someone was asking, like, my friends, or even in college too. They're like, do you think you're going to hell or heaven? And everyone's just so confidently saying, like, yep, heaven, yeah. And then they're like, why? And they were saying, like, oh, because of their faith or because of God or whatever. And I used to always answer saying, I don't know, because I really don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it goes on, like, from what I've done in life, obviously, if it goes on his mercy, we're going, I'm like, just being so dead ass. And, well, just being so serious.
Yeah.
But, what was I going to say? But this is where, like, the faith comes in, where after, like, 2023, started reading the Bible, learning more, and just started seeing God just as who he is, instead of just, like,
Who you are.
like, yeah. And, like, the God that I was, like, taught by, obviously, I always tell this, like, my grandpa's the one who introduced me to church. He was 87 years old, almost by the end of his life, so he's very scared. So it's like, imagine learning from, like, someone who's literally, like, praying for the mercy of their life or whatever. It's really scary, And exactly. And I feel like once I've learned, my answer is still I don't know, trust me. But I feel like now I have more faith in God and his mercy than me. And now I know it has nothing to do with me, because, like, with my own doing, obviously I would never make it to heaven, So it's like now I have more of the faith in. And then instead of thinking that, because that's just like a morbid thinking of only like, oh my God, I don't want to go to hell. Like, instead of just like running away from the devil, I just might as well just like, stop looking back and just like looking like towards God, basically. But yeah, so now I don't have that, like, it's not a fear anymore. It's just a fact.
That's I feel like a lot of people can definitely relate to that. And I think something to point out, I think it's more a reflection of his mercy and compassion and what he can do in our life versus like how good we are as people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like, heaven is his mercy and grace on your life, not the fact that you did these things so well. If that was the case.
Yeah. I definitely do want to say, though, this
What?
is not like I definitely do want to say this is not like an advice to be like, you could just vibe and then he's going to forgive you, so you can just
Absolutely not.
Because that's not what I'm trying to say. I feel like heart posture and your intentions are still way more important. So I guess you just are trying to like have the right heart posture in everything that you do, or like even have the right intentions, because your body, your flesh you're gonna sin like anyways, regardless. So either just having the right intentions, because that's all I could do.
Hands up, don't shoot. Yeah.
Don't shoot. This is gonna be me. That's all I can do, genuinely. But
this is you at the gate, just like,
look. I'm in the middle. Like, that's.
we got really vulnerable on this epi. Didn't expect.
You guys know us so well now. I feel like you just have to by now.
I feel like now every Halloween episode we have to get deep. Absolutely. It's like literally like Halloween, Hermella.
Literally.
Like
we always do this. But I feel like since you guys have heard all this thing, at least you could do is subscribe. At least you could do is comments and tell us one of your things. Because I feel like you have to like them. Like in middle school, like I told you a secret, now you have to tell me about one of yours. You literally have to tell me your fear. Sorry.
Get it? You have to. Subscribe, like, comment. You have to. Drop a secret. Drop a secret. It's crazy.
Huh? Drop a secret. You've never told anyone. Drop it. Thank you.
Drop it right now. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
Choose faith over fear and everything, and fight. Your body and your mind is your op. Maybe that's a little too aggressive, but like it really is the op. So really, like, actually just like, live for you, love you, mwah. Go to sleep,
mwah.
Tuck yourself to sleep, drink your water, take a shower, brush your teeth. I'm just kidding.
All right, bye, Firsties.